We're back here on Buckeye Talk. Stephen Means, Nathan Baird, Andrew Gillis, and it's time to make our game picks for Ohio State's primetime matchup against Michigan State on Saturday on NBC. Ohio State is favored by 31 points with an over-under of 47. Nathan, what's your game score?
So I really want to predict a shutout here. No offense to the Spartans, who've had their season kind of turned upside down with all the Mel Tucker nonsense, and are obviously trying to, coming off a win to break a losing streak, and that's good for them. I just think this is a bad offense that is going to be playing a great defense. Now, the one reason I'm not picking a shutout, though, is I just don't know how many of Ohio State's defensive starters are going to play in this game. I think they're going to be missing at least 2, probably 3, and they may be playing some short rotations with some other guys too, if they can help it, to just heal up with obviously a monster game coming in a couple weeks. So Ohio State 45, Michigan State 3. That would cover the crazy 31-point spread and would be just a hair over the over-under of 47. And it's tricky to pick Ohio State games to go over right now, because a lot of times you're guessing, well, is it going to be 1 touchdown or 2 for the other team? This is definitely, I think, a 1 touchdown week at best, and I'm not even saying that. But I also think this is a week where Ohio State's offense kind of gets it. Like, it's time for this offense to sync up and start executing and start finishing drives with touchdowns. And I think this is the week that it can do that against this opponent under these circumstances. So 45-3, Ohio State.
So that's Ohio State covering, and that's an over. I'm right with you. 49-3 Ohio State. I thought about it 4 or 5 times. I kept going 0-3, 0-3, 0-3, because Ohio State's defense needs a reason to be motivated to play this game. And I think the only motivation you can get out of playing a team whose offense is as bad as Michigan State's is, let's try to shut them out. Let's try to get a shutout for the first time, I think, since 2019, since Ohio State's had a shutout in the Ryan Day era. So that's where your motivation is. But when you're not sure how much Tommy Eichenberg is going to play, when you're pretty sure Lathan Ransom is not going to play, you're not sure if Denzel Burke is going to play or not. Plus, Andrews made a point this time a lot this week of Kyle McCord didn't make the mistake last week, but he has made it so many times that at some point you're maybe just expecting Ohio State's defense to be put in an unfavorable position, whether it's because he makes a mistake or because the special teams makes a mistake, and puts up Ohio State's defense in a situation where they have to hold Michigan State to a field goal. So you have to account for those situations. But other than that, I don't expect Michigan State to be able to move the ball. I do expect Ohio State's offense to maybe come into sync in a way that it hasn't against a Power 5 opponent all year. So 49-3, Ohio State covers, and that's an over. Andrew, what's your game score?
Yeah, we're all in the same line. I am predicting 45-7. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to say Michigan State finds the end zone, which I did kind of think it was funny. If you were to say Ohio State scores 45 points in this one game, it would take Michigan State 28 quarters to reach 49 and win that game. So I just kind of thought that was funny. Like, how many quarters would it really take Michigan State's offense to beat 45? And I kind of stopped, and I was like, well, if I'm predicting 7, it would take 7 games. So that's 28 quarters. So yeah, this game to me, just I look at it and I felt weird picking Ohio State to cover and to go over. Per covers.com, Ohio State is 4-4-1 against the spread this year, and they are 2-7 against the over-under, and 2 being over. They had one of the overs last week. So going into last week, they had gone over once this season. But I do think this is a little bit more like the Western Kentucky game. The Western Kentucky game over-under was 64.5, and Ohio State scored 63 in that game. This over-under is 47. This kind of feels to me like Ohio State could score 42 or 45. Like, I feel like they can get most of the way there themselves, and you just need Michigan State to score a touchdown. I think they will. Jermaine Matthews had a quote on Wednesday night where he said, look, they kind of got nothing to lose, and that's kind of what we have to be prepared for. They're at a point now where Michigan State is, they're not very, like, he didn't say this, I want to be clear. They're not very good, but they're at a point in their season where why not? Why not try some funky stuff? Why not try some trick plays, or why not try whatever? You just got to connect on 1 or 2 of those, or something's got to go right for you. I think they'll score. I think they'll score a touchdown, but this game will not ever be close. So I'm going to say 45-7. This is a game I think where Ohio State gets right and feels really good about where it's headed into the Minnesota week. You talked about the ramp up period. Ryan Day talking about intensity and urgency and all these other kind of different things. Well, go back to the beginning part of the year. They kind of stumbled a little bit against Indiana and Youngstown State. And then they beat up Western Kentucky pretty good. And that was the week before the Notre Dame game. And every single player said, oh, we had to do this because we know what's coming down the line. I think that's kind of the message right now. They know what's coming down the line. So I think that this is going to be a bloodbath. I think that Ohio State's going to take care of business pretty easily here.